All right, welcome back. So, it took me a while to figure out the title for this live stream. Um, I contemplated between several different titles, so I made it very vague on purpose. And I just want to deal with a few recent stories. Pretty much every live stream is going to involve some recent stories. And I want to deal with the subhuman lifestyle of dog culture. And I think we should appreciate the fact that we found something that's genuinely subhuman. You know, a lot of times when people talk about primitiveness, they're usually talking about something that can be argued, something that can be debated or refuted. There's usually an objection that can be made to a person's claim of subhuman behavior. But with dog ownership, there is no objection possible. Now, if you look up the definition of subhuman, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, it is described as having or showing behavior or characteristics that are much worse than those expected of ordinary people. Then they give an example. Their treatment of prisoners is subhuman. That is one of their examples. Okay. Now, let me ask you something. Isn't endangering not only your own kids, but everybody else's kids? Isn't that subhuman behavior? Of course it is. And it's irrefutable. You don't endanger your kids in any other way. It's only this dog culture where it's an immediate, indefinite threat of death. Okay, these are fatal threats. So it qualifies for you to be aware that something is deadly and you make the conscious decision to bring it inside of your home, the exact place that it's supposed to be the safest place in the world for your children. Let's understand this. As humans, we have standards, just like all other living organisms. One standard, in order to be a human being, this is required. A human being must value the life of his or her offspring. You have to. If you don't, you are subhuman. Okay? If a woman and a man have a child and they make the decision to walk up 30 stories and toss the child off the roof of the building, that is subhuman behavior. Because there's absolutely no concern whatsoever for human life, and this is the life of your own offspring. So it's not an opinion that this would be subhuman behavior. That is an absolute fact. Now, I talk a lot about sacrifices. Have you ever looked up the definition of sacrifice? Here's another definition of subhuman. Subhuman, what in the world? Words and actions aren't worthy of a human being. Okay? They gave an example of stealing a toy from a child being a subhuman thing to do. Subhuman means below or under. Just as a submarine is below the surface of an ocean, something subhuman is below what is appropriate for human beings. Let me stop there. Dog ownership is not appropriate for human beings. Specifically, ownership of large, vicious, all large dogs are vicious. They all got the capability to kill. They're all vicious. And aggression is a part of their nature. Okay? If you are a mother or a father and you are also a dog owner, you're living a subhuman lifestyle. And at that moment, during that time, you are an example of a subhuman. And the fact that you are a subhuman is seen in that behavior alone. Even if that's the only subhuman behavior that you act out. It does not matter. That's the true test of a person's humanity. Is whether or not they care about the safety and well-being of themselves and their offspring, their family. As human beings, that's the true test of humanity. Which means dogs don't even qualify as humane creatures. Another reason why, it makes no sense to me to insist on putting dogs down and treating them in a humane way. Stop with this humane nonsense when it comes to dogs. Dogs are not human. Simple as that. They shouldn't deserve. They don't deserve humane treatment because they're not humans. Duh. But anyways, this is irrefutably subhuman behavior. Why? We all know why. Because without a doubt, sacrifice, especially when you're sacrificing your own children, that is subhuman. In fact, it's worse than subhuman. Before I examined this dog culture, I didn't think it was possible. I did not think it was possible to be lower than subhuman. I thought that was as low as you could possibly get. Not the case. You can be lower than subhuman. Now, why do I say that? Because you have subhuman creatures on this planet. That would be all the animals of the planet. Right? These are examples of subhumans. The animals. The insects and animals. But not even the insects and animals of the earth are willing to do something as reckless, heartless, and careless as dog lovers. They will not, under no circumstances, bring their young around dogs. And they will definitely not bring dogs to their young. Okay? Is that intelligence or not? The easy way to find out is to find out if it's dangerous. Because if something is dangerous, especially if it's, deadly, it is not intelligent to play around with something that's deadly or dangerous, or to take chances just for the sake of taking the chance, which is what dog lovers do. They risk their life, their family's life, and everybody's life and well-being. Understand, it's not all about fatalities. They risk their own life, their family's life, and everybody in the community just for sport. Just because they get a cheap thrill out of doing it. Another example of subhuman behavior. No empathy, just simply refuse to put themselves in the shoes of others. Textbook definition of a subhuman. Another thing with these people is that they don't care about their subhuman behavior. That's how you truly know whether or not a person is subhuman. And the fact is, on this earth, we are surrounded by subhumans. A bunch of people, these are subhumans. I think that is a monumental discovery, me personally. Because it's not an opinion, it's an irrefutable fact that an entire population of people on this earth right now today are subhuman. And they are so subhuman that their subhuman behavior gets people hurt and killed every day. Now, understand, the people who are usually hurt and killed is their own family. Is there any way to argue that this is not subhuman? No way at all. I want the dog lovers themselves to admit that their lifestyle is a subhuman lifestyle. What on earth would possess people to fall in love with these creatures? Now, this was uploaded 4 months ago. I want y'all to look at this. You know what? We'll come back to this. We'll come back to this. I don't want to digress too far away from the topic here. How many of y'all saw this story that surfaced today? There was a story that surfaced today where there's a video that surfaced of a child being attacked by a dog. It's on my Twitter. Okay, those of you who follow me on Twitter, probably seen it already. I'm going to go to it now. Now, I'm not going to show the attack. I'm going to show what happened right before the attack. Here's the video. Now, I think this video surfaced maybe a day ago. Another video from out of India. And again, over there in India, why on earth are there kids walking around by themselves anyways? It's just not that type of country. Now look at this. This is a shame because the child is not that far from adults. Here's an adult and here's another adult right here. Okay? Now, all of you dog behaviorists, all you dog trainers, all you veterinarians who, when you want to give advice on how to reduce dog attacks on children, the only thing you want to talk about is the children provoking the dogs. And I've been saying that kids never, ever provoke these things. And here's another example. Why is it that all of the videos, the video footage of dog attacks on kids, why do they all agree with me? Why is it that we never actually see a provoked dog attack? We never see it. Now look at this. Did y'all see that dog come out? You clearly see the child did nothing. Now, I had to stop it there because the dog went on to attack the child. Now, who ran up to who? Where is the pestering? Where's the ear pulling? Where's the tail pulling that you so-called experts love to talk about. And this is how dog attacks go down. The dog simply sees a child and launches an attack. See, these dog lovers, they don't want to admit to that because they understand that it requires a horrible, evil character to do that. They fully understand that. That's why they have to always insist that the child did something or that the dog has some type of chemical imbalance. Somebody left a real good comment on, I think, my most recent video, and they pointed out that dogs are not humans, which means they're irrational. They don't need a rational reason. They don't need an understandable or legitimate reason to attack. That's exactly what makes them an animal. That's what separates them from us. It's in their nature to attack unprovoked. That's what makes them animals, or so-called animals. But really, not even animals do that. That type of behavior really is beneath most animals in most cases, except for dogs. With natural animals, generally, you have to do something to provoke them. But with dogs, they attack for the sport of attacking. So the character of dogs is extremely anti-human, extremely inhumane. Now, I cannot show this attack, but y'all clearly see that the child did nothing. Nothing. Didn't even run. Yet, when these experts are asked about the cause of these attacks, what can be done to reduce them, the only thing they talk about is child behavior. They don't talk about nothing else. Because if they were to deal with anything else, it would involve unprovoked attacks. And they don't want to project dogs as they actually are. Whenever they talk about dogs, they always want to project them in a way that they are not. They always want to impose a loving character onto them. This talk about how loving dogs are, it's all lip service. It goes no further than that. It's all lip service. Let me share this video. Again, be sure to follow me on Twitter. Okay? Follow me on Twitter. If you can stomach videos like this are crucial. These are very important videos because they clearly prove these trainers, behaviorists, and veterinarians to be the liars that they are. All of you so-called experts, I want y'all to understand my mission is to expose all of you as the liars that you actually are. Because your lies is what keeps our communities dangerous and full of dogs. Had you been doing your job, there would have been enough pressure on the lawmakers and law enforcement to the point where these things would not exist in our society at all. Matter of fact, they wouldn't exist anywhere. They would be exterminated like they should be. Dogs deserve nothing from human beings other than pure hatred and death. Hatred and death. They don't deserve water, food, or shelter, especially not from us. Because these things prefer to attack us. And they prefer to attack human children. I don't need to know nothing else. I don't need to know anything beneficial that they bring into society. That's all I need to know to support their extermination. See how easy that is? There's no need for any complex discussions. So, dog culture in general, we have to understand, is true child sacrifice. More than anything else, it's child sacrifice. Dog culture in general, more than anything else. It's child sacrifice more than it is dangerous, more than it is stupid, unclean, weird. And that is because children are attacked most of the time. They're usually the victims. That's bad enough. The fact that dogs attack them over 50% of the time, that's bad enough. To make matters even worse, the children can't fight off the dogs. So an attack happens, they simply have to hope that they're not killed. No normal human would put their kids in such a situation. Okay? This is subhuman behavior. This is behavior that are much worse than those expected of ordinary people. The behavior of ordinary people is to protect their offspring. That is such a standard behavior that all living organisms adhere to it. They all have a natural instinct to protect their offspring with their own life. Now, don't get me wrong. Humans have this instinct. We have this instinct as well. It's not just wild animals and insects. We as humans, we have a natural instinct to protect our young at all costs. But the dog lovers, they don't have this instinct. They may have the instinct, but they've neutralized it. They've removed it. They have become numb to it. And that's the downside of being a human being. We have the ability to go against our instinct, to go against logic and common sense. We have the ability to operate against our very existence, something that other living organisms really don't have the ability to do. They don't know any other way to function than in a way to maintain their existence. But as humans, we get an advantage of intelligence. Our brain is far more efficient than other organisms, but there's a price to pay for that more advanced brain. And that is, we have the ability to go directly against our instinct. And that is what this dog culture does. It specializes in going against natural human instincts. And it goes against the most basic of instincts. That is to protect your young. Nobody has to teach you this. You don't have to be put through a college course. This is not something that you need to be taught. We come out of the womb with a natural instinct to protect ourselves and to protect anything that comes from us, meaning our kids. I've seen insects protect their young with their life. They will jump in front of much bigger insects, much bigger animals. Some of you, I'm sure, have seen videos of a little small lioness who fought off 2 or 3 male lions. Whereas, had she not had her cubs, she wouldn't have tried to fight them off. This happens all the time with animals, where not only the mother, but the father too. They'll become far more aggressive if their young are with them. Far more aggressive. Look at the instinct that natural animals have in regard to protecting their young. If you can't honor that, that's not only subhuman, that is pathetic. You are a pathetic example of a human being if you cannot honor, understand, honor, and act on that. That's honorable. To see these animals protect their young with their life is honorable. And it is dishonorable for you to endanger your young. That is disgusting. And these people have made a sport out of it. They've made it into a sport to the point where their inhumane, reckless endangerment goes unnoticed. People don't even recognize it. That's how much they've normalized it. But I'm telling you now, and any of you who disagree, any of you dog lovers who disagree, this dog culture is the most detailed, it's the most obvious, the most overt example of subhuman behavior, of subhumanity in general. Humans in general do not engage in anything even remotely as subhuman as this dog culture, and as often, as consistent. You know, people might get involved in other things from time to time, but with this dog culture, it's every day, all day, where these people go directly against the most basic natural instincts, and that is to keep predators, killers away from your young, especially if you are not even of the same species as the killer. You can't even communicate with the killer using language. You can't communicate with it at all. You simply have to hope. Cross your fingers and hope it never rips your child's throat out. Irrefutable subhumanity. Irrefutable stupidity. You have to be a subhuman to accept subhuman lifestyles. That's why dog lovers don't even view themselves as subhuman. They don't view their lifestyle as subhuman, as primitive. That's exactly why they're engaged in that lifestyle. They're so subhuman, they don't even know how to define or recognize subhumanity. Oh boy. Now, what in the world? The county where sacrificing children is a thriving business? I don't know why I saved this, people. I was trying to figure it out as I was sitting here talking, but I can't remember why I saved this or what in the world it's about. This sounds crazy. Wait a minute.
joined undercover detectives, armed police, and a pastor hunting for a witch doctor accused of kidnapping and killing children.
Witch doctors believe that when you kidnap a child, you get wealth, you get protection.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did. I've heard about this. Now, they'll hear a story like this and say, oh, you evil, how could you? No, dog lovers, you're in the same boat. You're no different from these witch doctors who kidnap children and carry out child sacrifice. You do the exact same thing. Nobody cares that you put lipstick on it, that you try to sugarcoat it. That's exactly what you do. You go out and acquire killers and bring them into the house, giving them the green light to attack anybody in that house whenever they want. And the only thing you do is cross your fingers and hope that it doesn't attack them. That's the craziest part about dog culture. No matter how confident a dog owner sounds, each and every one of them, when they have a dog inside of the home and their kids are in the home, they all cross their fingers and simply hope that the dog never attacks them. There's no way to argue that that's a smart thing to do. There's no way to argue that that's a smart thing to do. Even better than that, there's no way to deny that that's stupid. I'm making the charge now. That's a dumb thing to do. You cannot come up with an argument that disproves it from being dumb. And I refuse to put myself in a position like that. And it's troubling that so many people don't mind putting themselves in a position like that. I refuse to put myself in a position where people could say, you know what, IHD, that's dumb. And especially if they say, hey, I can prove that it's dumb. Well, I'm going to step back away from whatever it is that's dumb. But with these dog lovers, they have no shame. They have no shame because they are truly and genuinely primitive. If they had some amount of humanity inside them, they'd feel guilty about endangering others. They'd feel disgusted bringing this nasty excrement beast into their home. They get all kinds of conflicting feelings and emotions. If they were normal human beings, if they were normal living organisms, and I have to always bring it back to the living organisms because that is like security. That helps to hammer home this point because it proves that this is a natural instinct in all living organisms, no matter what you're dealing with, no matter if you're dealing with insects or people. How many of y'all heard of the wolf spider? I actually heard of this spider after I caught it. I heard of it after I caught it. Hatchlings. Well, okay. I'm about to show y'all this. So I was at my job several years ago, and I saw a huge spider. It was a wolf spider. And I could not understand, how it got so big, because it was huge. The spider was huge. And later I found out that it was so big because it was pregnant. It was pregnant. Now let me show y'all something. This is a wolf spider. This wolf spider has just had a bunch of hatchlings or babies, baby spiders. And with these wolf spiders, they'll carry their young in a sort of web attached to them, attached to their back, just like you see here. So a few days after I caught this spider, I woke up and I saw this thing looking just like this, with a bunch of little baby spiders in its thing. And boy, that spider was extra aggressive. When I would get close, that thing was extra aggressive. I'm telling you, and I know y'all have seen it. Every single living organism in this universe is hyper aggressive when they're with their young. I need y'all to understand how strong of an instinct this is. It's so powerful that it exists in all living things. All living things have this natural desire of protection for their young. But with the dog lovers, it's 100% absent. It's not there at all. That is strong evidence of a mental illness. That's strong evidence of a social, intellectual, evolutionary disorder. You engaged in behavior so dangerous that all living things have a natural instinct to avoid it. And these people actually flaunt their lifestyle of endangerment. You cannot get any more sick than that. I'm calling this lifestyle sick in hopes that these people get help. Okay? It's not just for the sheer pleasure of calling you sick. I don't want to live next to you. I don't want to live next to sick people. I'd rather you just not be a sick person. You see? But y'all are in a pickle. You do something. I'm talking about the dog lovers, specifically the owners of large dogs. You do things, you engage in behavior every single day of your life that other living organisms refuse to engage in. You know, and this protective instinct, it's beneficial. You know, it's sad that dog lovers need this to be explained to them. This instinct to protect your young, it's actually beneficial for the young. You know how? It ensures their existence, right? It benefits us biologically. Isn't this sad? These people, they actually need you to explain this to them. And you know what? They probably still don't understand how it's beneficial. I mean, I have to assume that these people are this dumb if they've made it this far. Okay? Do you understand that, dog lovers? It's beneficial to protect your life. It's beneficial to protect the life of your young. Don't ask why. I know you're still confused. You don't understand why. Just accept that as a fact. And, you know, when you encounter an extremely protective organism, extremely protective of their young, there's always a respect for that sense of protection, even if we feel like it's overboard. Even if we feel like, hey, I wasn't going to attack your young. I wasn't going to attack your babies anyways. We still respect that. Like, okay. I can respect that. You understand? Even animals, wild animals, they can respect that. So if something doesn't even have an instinct that's this basic, it doesn't deserve respect. Follow me where I'm going here. We're talking about an instinct that's so natural for human creatures that even the mutant dogs have this instinct, because dogs are not going to bring other dogs or predators around their young. Not even dogs are this dumb. Not going to bring no killer around their young. So for you to actually go out and acquire these things and bring them around your young, that means you are beneath dogs. In an evolutionary sense, on the evolutionary ladder, you're behind not only dogs, but all the other animals and instinct of the earth as well. And listen, because you truly are a population of primitive subhumans, I understand that that doesn't bother you. Even if you agree that yes, I am living a subhuman lifestyle, I understand it's not going to bother you because you are true, genuine subhuman in your mind. But I need people, and I am always mindful of this. I always keep this close in mind. Because people like this, they're not, look, if you don't care about the safety, the health, and well-being of your own flipping offspring, I know that you are a person that I need to watch out for. Because if you don't care about your own offspring, you don't care about nothing. You don't care about yourself. You don't care about life at all. And that sums up the dog lovers. These basically a population of people who don't value life at all. They only value life to the extent where they're having fun. Extremely impulsive. No intelligence, no thinking. They just live life on impulse. It feels good, so I'm going to do it. No rational skills at all. Yeah. So I need y'all to understand this, dog lovers. I was thinking about this for a long time today. And I was wondering, how could anybody accept or embrace a primitive lifestyle after it's been proven beyond a reasonable doubt that it's a primitive lifestyle? If somebody proves to me that some part of my lifestyle is primitive and it's so bad that every single other living organism displays far more intelligence than me, that would be shameful. I couldn't continue in that lifestyle. No way. So I don't know how they've managed to do this, but the dog lover world right now, they've managed to distract everybody's attention from how stupid they are, how dumb and primitive and subhuman their lifestyle is. But we are about to bring the focus right back to you. That's only temporary. The world I want, where the dog lovers are laughed at, are mocked, where you're looked at as some type of dysfunctional anomaly on this earth, it's coming back. Okay? I know it existed at one point, but it's coming back. I'm sorry, but early in the dog lover stages, I know there was a population of people who looked at these nutters, scratched their head, and just couldn't wrap their head around it. But it was because they kept their mouth shut. That enabled the dog lover population to grow. Crazy stuff. So I wish the best for you, dog lovers. I want you to get rid of your dog and to never own another one. That will make the community much safer. I am very sick and tired of dogs being talked about as if they are valuable. They are not. I'm sick of them being talked about as if their life is valuable. Their life is not valuable. In fact, their life is counterproductive. Their life harms our life. Their existence is a burden on us. There's recently a dog killed, and some journalist made some type of dumb statement talking about we value all life loss and we value the life of the dog. I don't. Okay? I want you to understand that. All you nutters out here assuming that everybody loves dogs and look at dogs the same way they look at humans. No, I need y'all to know that there's a population of people who are the exact opposite of what you're talking about. Now, what is this? Another nutter unable to control their dog.
A Miami-Dade County employee attacked on the job. Police say she was serving an eviction notice in Little Havana when two dogs lunged at her. Tonight, police say the woman is expected to be okay.
Serving an eviction notice unarmed? Y'all can get enough of walking up to random people's homes unarmed.
And now we're getting a glimpse of the harrowing moment she was attacked and how she managed to get away. Let's get right over to CBS News Miami's Ted Scout. And Ted, you spoke to a witness about this.
Yeah, we did. And, you know, that victim was rushed to the hospital. Right after that happened, she had bite marks on her ear as well as her backside. At last check, the hospital said that she was listed as stable. And we want to warn you, as we were talking about, we do have video, and it may be disturbing. Surveillance video shows a Miami-Dade court processor at the gate of a Little Havana home.
Miami-Dade court processor. Okay?
Serving an eviction notice. Then the video cuts to two dogs running out and attacking her on the street. With the help of the dog's owner, the victim was able...
Look at that dumb lady. This dumb nutter idiot picks up a cone. This is her own dogs that she can't control. Very typical with these nutters. They always fail to demonstrate their ability to control their dogs. This is what I'm talking about. When I see a big dumb nutter like this out on the street, I know you're incapable of controlling that dog. I know that the law that says you're supposed to have it on a leash and under control at all times, I know that law is nonsense. And I know that if your dogs attack, you're going to be fumbling, looking dumb, just like this nutter right here. And incapable of controlling them. And this is one of these moments, I'm telling you, where these dog owners, you deserve to be dealt with. for your stupidity. That's a big problem with these nutters. In normal situations, people who engage in behavior this dumb and dangerous, they get dealt with by the community. They would get that good old-fashioned community justice. Now, if we went back to those days, you already know that these dog owners would be at the top of the list. And don't worry about the dogs. They'll get handled too, the good old-fashioned way. Okay, so this lady who works for the state or the city court processor, she serves this letter, and the nutter opens the door and lets her dogs out. And she did that on purpose. They always do. These dumb nutters, they always release their dog on police officers, anybody who works for the government.
Serving an eviction notice. Then the video cuts to two dogs running out and attacking her on the street. With the help of the dog's owner, the victim was able to get away and run to her car.
They were both on the floor, and the owner was like calling the dogs off.
Lucy Munoz lives
The owner was calling the dogs off. This is so shameful. Everybody sounds dumb. Because you're not going to sound like a smart person unless you are against these things in your community. Any amount of tolerance for dogs in the community, you're going to make yourself sound like a lunatic.
across the street. She said the trouble began after the process server went through the front gate.
She was inside the gate. She removed the chain and she went inside the gate. And the dogs are only doing their little job, you know.
You saw her remove the chain?
Yes, I did. And you could hear it from here.
This is one of the dogs. The owner tells us she's 5 or 6 years old. This is the other. Both are American bulldogs.
Look, nobody's doing nothing to it. This thing is just being aggressive just to be aggressive. And that's why they say that they don't deserve nothing from us. You mean to tell me after being around humans all these thousands of years, they're still aggressive towards us on sight? We've been their only source of food for thousands of years, and they still lash out at us in aggression on sight? They don't deserve nothing from us. Oh, excuse me, I take that back. They do deserve something from us. Death. Nothing but death. The only thing these things deserve, they don't deserve a home, food, water, or shelter. The only thing they deserve is to be gotten rid of. No sense in wasting our resources on something too dumb to even be aware that resources are being used on it. So it definitely won't appreciate that we dump resources to facilitate their worthless, pointless existence. They need to be gotten rid of by all world governments. Again, I always have to clarify this. I'm not telling people to go out and break the law. I'm not telling people to go out and do anything to these dogs. I'm saying that this is so serious and obvious that these things should be banned, and these large dogs, especially bully breeds, need to be exterminated. This aggression right here, this thing don't deserve nothing but a mallet. All it deserves is a sledgehammer. Since we want to talk about something that it deserves.
Hear it from here.
This is one of the dogs. The owner tells us.
And she said that the dogs were doing their job when they attacked her. People who walk up to your front door don't deserve to be attacked. What are you talking about? We're humans. That's what humans do. Humans interact. We walk up to each other's door and knock on it. We're not living in the jungle. Don't tell me people deserve to be attacked simply because they got too close to a home. Don't tell me this dog was doing its job. It's not its job to attack people just willy-nilly. What are you talking about? This whole idea of having dogs for protection does not work in today's world. That's an extremely primitive perspective. You need a dog for protection. We're not living in caves. What are you talking about? It is because we're in a highly advanced society that we're able to see just how dumb and unnecessary dogs are. As protection, it's dumb and unnecessary, and it's not even effective. When they attack people, they're always attacking people who mean them no harm and who mean the owner no harm. Why is it that they always attack people who not supposed to be attacked? Tell me that these things are for protection. They're too dumb.
This is one of the dogs. The owner tells us she's 5 or 6 years old.
That's 5 or 6 years too old. 5 or 6 years too old. Should have killed that thing a long time ago. And with all the rest of them. What is up with, are people so cowardly and scared? You know, a lot of these people, they scared to live without dogs. I mean, there are some people in the world like that. They're extremely wimpy. They're extremely cowardly. Like in their heart, they're just like extreme cowards. Both males and females. But I think it's worse for the males. That's why you see a bunch of these little scrawny, puny, skinny guys with these large dogs. That guy on YouTube, what is it, Dynasty, Dog Dynasty, whatever. Look at how skinny that puny weirdo is. That's why he's so obsessed with dogs, because he don't look like that.
This is the other. Both are American bulldogs.
She opened it, she went inside, she put it, and then she went back out, and I don't think she...
Now look at this joker right here. This dude got 2 different types of earrings. What is this? Got him a Jerry curl bag on his head. Okay. You're saying a lot there, buddy. Look at that nasty, junky porch. That nasty, messy property, period. Just the type of nutter I'd expect. Ugh. And what is this? This vest, does that say police?
She opened it, she went inside, she put it, and then she went back out, and I don't think she closed this, right, for the gate, and then that's when it happened.
No, that's when it happened. That's when y'all released the dog on her. God. They basically, like, do y'all know how many dirt bags are in the world? How many just flat out lunatics there are in the world? How many of y'all saw that recent video of this guy who started punching? He started to punch this lady in the face. And her son put out a gun and killed him, shot him. They were at like a hot dog stand. But you clearly saw this dude was an over-the-top lunatic. People, there are a bunch of lunatics in the world. That's just the way it is. And I think we need to keep close in mind that most of those lunatics are not in straitjackets. Most of them are not in prisons. Most of them are out here in the world, right next door to you.
This man lives at that home with his parents. He said the dogs got out when his mom went to check out the noise from the gate opening.
I don't believe that lady removed that chain. I don't believe that. I don't believe no worker, no employee of the city, Miami-Dade County, I don't believe she reached in there and removed that chain. That's a lie.
From the gate opening.
My mom went out because she heard it. Like, she heard the gate, correct? And then that's when my mom went out and then the dog...
She ain't hear no gate. What are you talking about? Broad daylight. And she heard a chain rattling all the way outside. Dude, shut up. I'm so sick of people and their stupid, goofy lies, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm going to grow up to be one of them grumpy old men. And I see why men were so grumpy. Not just men, old people in general. Because you be on this earth so long, you just get tired of stupidity. And I'm going to be one of those old people. Well, I'm going to just be telling people to shut up, man. Don't even finish what you're about to say. Just shut up and get out my face. We have to stop entertaining stupidity, thoughtlessness.
Like, she heard the gate, correct? And then that's when my mom went out and then the dogs came out behind your mom. Yeah.
Now both dogs are in the custody of Miami-Dade Animal Services. They'll be in quarantine for 10 days. So here's what happens next. During that quarantine, Animal Services will do an investigation. Now at this point...
Yeah, Animal Service will do an investigation. In other words, they're going to try their best to not do nothing. Try their best to make sure nothing happens to the dog and that the dogs are given right back to the owner. That's the whole point of the investigation. All investigations. Their investigations are pro-dog activities. Yeah. So it's, you know, when you look at how laws cater to the dog world, it can give you a lot of doubt. You know, it can make you feel kind of hopeless. Like, man, there's no way we can win if the dog lovers, their narrative and lifestyle is so prominent that laws and lawmakers cater to them. Huge multi-billion-dollar corporations cater to them. You know, a lot of you thinking, oh, there's no way we can win. But the problem for the dog culture is that they don't stand on truth. They do not stand on truth, common sense, logic, or instinct. And that's irrefutable. So I'm just fine with how the world caters to dog lovers right now, because before this time, before this current era, you really didn't have any strong opponents of dog culture. When you're talking about the 1990s and even the early 2000s, you didn't have no real opponents of dog culture. Nobody who made their presence known. Nobody's ever been this bold and brave to come out against the dog culture. So this is really our first strike against the dog culture. Let me tell you, nutters, we're not going to miss. We have not missed. Okay? I don't have to see dogs banned to acknowledge a victory. Our victory comes when we put you in your place and leave you with your mouth closed. I'm always tagging you nutters, you behaviorist veterinarians. I let you all know what we're talking about. We don't hide our beliefs. And you never have anything to say in response. Never. The only people who will leave a response, again, are people who too dumb to know that they shouldn't. I still haven't seen a response from an actual dog trainer, an actual dog behaviorist, or an actual veterinarian. Because those people at least got enough sense to understand I can't win. We can't win. So it's a shutout for the anti-dog world. That's our victory. I'll take that. Thank you very much. The world is going crazy and is being lost, relinquished to the dogs. Right now, there are numerous dog attacks all across the world. 6-year-old girl bitten after 2 dogs on the loose in Toronto. People in Toronto, be on the lookout. There are dogs on the loose. This story surfaced just a few hours ago, like 4 or 5 hours ago. 6-year-old with serious injuries has been hospitalized. A witness told the news he and his brother were in the area when they heard a mother and a young girl screaming for their life. They were terrified. Okay, so they don't talk about the lead up to the attack, but I can tell you for sure it was unprovoked. It was unprovoked. They're all unprovoked. All dog attacks are unprovoked. And you have to be extremely inhumane to push this idea that all dog attacks are provoked. Going back to the inhumanity of dog culture. I put that charge even on the educated class. I charge them with that more than I do everybody else. Because you're the one group of people who's supposed to know better. And I hope you're proud of how inhumane you are, all of you behaviorists and trainers and veterinarians. Because you have to be extremely inhumane to put out as much misinformation and lies as you do. Misinformation and lies that blames children for being attacked. I will never relinquish my foot from y'all's neck about that. Okay, whoa. Look at this. This happened in Toronto. Speaking of Toronto, I just mentioned a 6-year-old in Toronto who was attacked. You see that right here? It's 8 hours ago. You see this story? It surfaced 18 minutes ago. Also in Toronto. And they caught this on film. I wonder if it will show the dog being provoked. Okay, what happened here? Now you see the dogs. They're waiting around, looking for another opportunity to attack. Unprovoked. And we all know that dogs do this. These so-called professionals claim that dogs are always provoked. So are you telling me that they're still being provoked? So disgusting, these so-called professionals, to come up with an elaborate lie like that. And it's actually pretty clever. I see that they've duped most people. well, reduce dog attacks. Well, you have to teach children to mind their manners. Know your dog manners. Suspected zoophile language. That's what that is. My tolerance is going out the window with these suspected zoophiles. One of the reasons their lifestyle, their behavior is so bizarre to me, I suspect it is because they are suspected zoophiles. Quite naturally, I'm not going to be able to connect with zoophiles. And naturally, a suspected zoophile, you can't expect them to have humane values. Now, that's another thing. Don't you think it's rather impossible for a person who lives a zoophile lifestyle? Don't you think it's impossible for those people to value humanity, to value being a human? Do you think those types of people would find some type of pride in being a human being? Of course they wouldn't. And in order for them to be content with their lifestyle, they actually have to demonize humanity and project this idea that humans are horrible, humans are terrible, dogs are so much better. And that reminds you of the dog culture in general, doesn't it? Because like I said, dog culture to a great extent is just an extension of zoophile culture. Many of the talking points, the narratives, the position that they hold, many things really came from the zoophile community. The dog lover world is pretty much one and the same. When we talk about dog culture, we're talking about zoophile culture. Zoophile culture is a part of dog culture. And it's a huge, huge part of dog culture. All these people out here getting it on with dogs, they have to be dog owners. So we have narrowed down the population of people involved in this zoophile lifestyle. We've narrowed it down. It has to be the people who are dog owners. So if those people also possess large dogs, touch them at your own risk. You can pretty much guarantee there's something going on. I can almost guarantee you all owners of large dogs have at some point allowed their dog to lick on them. All of them. All of them. No exception. This is especially true with the people who walk around in their underwear and lingerie around their dogs. And we all know many people walk around butt naked around their dogs. When these people walking around their dogs in their panties and their underwear, when they're walking around their dogs butt naked, understand in those moments they are being sexual with the dog. It does not matter how the dog looks at it. You wouldn't walk around butt naked in front of a random person. That's actually zoophilia when they do that. Whether they're walking around butt naked or in their panties. That's also zoophilia. And that is behavior that needs to be looked down upon. There's just far too much in this dog culture. Far too much inhumane behavior that has been normalized. I'm telling y'all, I could sit here and talk for hours about all the different things, inhumane things that have been normalized by the dog culture. It is a very sick, inhumane, anti-human, anti-child, And it's definitely a cult. There's certain rules that they have to abide by. Y'all notice that? All dog lovers are expected to view their dog as their child. And you'll be hard pressed to find a dog owner that doesn't view their dog the same way as they view their kids. Yeah, you can't make this up. A lot of crazy stuff going on. There was another story that I meant to talk about, but it looks like I've lost it. Oh, what is this? Okay, wait a minute. Sorry about that. Yeah, it looks like I lost it. Multiple people attacked by dogs in Manassas? Where is that at? Where's Manassas? Oh, Virginia. Multiple people. How? How can multiple people be attacked by creatures that always have to be provoked before they attack? How's that even possible? How is this possible? Behaviorists. Dogs are not supposed to even be able to attack multiple people. Because there's no way each one of those people provoking those dogs. Let's check this out.
And right now at 10:30, a dog attack in a local neighborhood. Tonight, you'll hear from the Good Samaritan who was mauled while trying to save a child. Plus, a new report revealing more about threats ignored in the days leading up to January 6th at a former local police.
Somebody saved a child. Why people always got to save a child? Because the dog's always after the child.
He's convicted of setting fires to target his enemies.
Wait a minute.
Arnetta St. Bones is in the neighborhood where this attack happened.
Guys, good evening. We are still working to find out the status of the dogs involved in this vicious attack on Monday. But what we do know tonight is that a man who lives on this street here potentially helped prevent a terrible situation from happening.
I heard some commotion outside.
The screams of what appears to be a young girl being chased by dogs here on Winterset Drive.
I just jumped up and ran outside.
Okay, you see that this child running from the dog. Now this child is a lot older than 10, 8, 9, 10. And these nutters got the nerve to tell people, to tell their kids that if a dog runs at them to stand still as a tree. Well, I would love to backhand one of you nutters for coming up with nonsense like that. You got some nerve trying to instruct toddlers to be a tree when a dog runs at them. You idiot.
That's when Joshua Castle came face to face with two dogs.
I got the one dog to release the hold,
while the other attacked, leaving him with over 65 stitches and 20 puncture wounds all over his body.
Again, why do these injuries always have to be so severe? And this is why I'm pulling out my gun and I'm blasting. I refuse to sacrifice myself. And this is what they try to get everybody to do. Just accept it. Just accept it. If it attacks you, just accept it. It's part of life. You can go you know where with that. When you look at the severity on average of dog attack victims, there's no reason why cops and others who give people advice on how to protect themselves from a dog attack, there's no reason why you're not telling those people to carry a gun, pull out their gun if a dog tries to attack them, and blow that mutt's brains out. Every time you give advice on what to do to protect yourself, it should involve blowing that mutt's head off. Look at what the dogs do to you. Look at what they're going to do to you if they catch you. But they purposely, and they do this on purpose, they strategically avoid telling people to shoot the dog, even though we are within our rights to shoot them.
That's definitely where I took a brunt of it.
Joshua tells Fox 5 the dogs belong to a neighbor who lives nearby.
There you go, another neighbor. The owners of dogs in neighborhoods, these people are the enemies of the neighborhood. And notice across the street, there's a playground. These are enemies of communities. Stop saying hi to these savage, primitive lunatics. Stop treating them as if their presence is welcome. These people could be responsible for an attack on you or your family at any moment.
I've seen the dogs get loose and stuff before, and it's never been an issue. They've been friendly.
Nah. I don't want to hear nothing about no loose dogs being friendly. See, this is how people get hurt. You heard what he said. Oh, it's not a problem. They're friendly. See, when the whole neighborhood decides to be a bunch of dumb nutters and pretend like these things are harmless, eventually you're going to have a situation just like this, where a bunch of people got gaping wounds all because you wanted to sit up there all that time and be a big dummy. Oh, it's just a doggy. Oh, they're friendly. I don't care if you've never seen a dog attack before. You should always deal with them as if it's only a matter of time before they do. You even had a dog expert basically say that. Shared on the video the other day. They're at the point where they're just breaking down and saying, look, if you have a dog, you need to act and function as if the dog will attack, rather than assuming that it never will.
But, all it takes is one time.
Manassas City Police say this case is currently under investigation, but they...
See, that nutter owner of these dogs, they were releasing these dogs on purpose. They allow these dogs to roam around on purpose. And it's a shame that I don't see any of them. I look for dogs just roaming because I'm gonna get out my car, wait for them to come at me and try to attack me, and I'm gonna shoot them. I'm gonna make the community, the neighborhood safer right there on the spot. If these nutters knew that there were people out here armed, ready for these mutants, they'd probably do a better job at keeping them restrained.
Did receive a call about 3 people that were bitten by a dog. Council confirms that there was a woman nearby who also got attacked. Police go on to say that no one sustained serious injuries.
I couldn't feel much of the bites and scrapes that I got.
Those are serious. What are you talking about, you idiot? Anything that punctures the skin is a serious injury, especially when it's from a nasty dog. Boy, these people are quick to minimize anything if it has to do with a dog. Huh? If a dog did it, oh, it's no big deal if a dog did it. It's even worse if a dog did it. And look at this. Senior dog's heartbreaking surrender to local shelter sparks outrage online. Listen. Here's another one of the same story. It's so sad. Shelter heartbroken after owner neglects unwanted senior dog. Listen, don't nobody care what a bunch of low IQ, low life, dirt bag, primitive nutters think about no dogs. Stop telling us stuff like this. What are we supposed to be impressed? That a bunch of low IQ, primitive people are saddened because somebody gave a dog to a shelter? Well, who cares? This is what I'm talking about. How they go to the extreme with humanizing these things. Nobody care. Not even the dog lovers care. And that's the crazy part. Not even dog lovers care. Dog lovers don't care about dogs. If they did, they could not be dog owners themselves. There's no way they would rob dogs of the natural freedom to be free. They couldn't do it. Like, I cannot do this. Animals are meant to be free. They should live their own life just like I'm living my own life. I cannot keep an animal trapped its whole life. Even if I am feeding it every day, it does not matter. Freedom is far more important than the dog eating man-made food. You'd have far too much respect for the dog as a dog to be a dog owner if you were truly humane, nutters. There's no way. You couldn't rob these things of their natural freedom. So don't nobody care. Not even the dog lovers care about stuff like this. So save it. And the only reason they put stories out like this is to take your attention away from all the bloodshed carried out exclusively by these mutants on a daily basis. Now, I was actually looking for something. Boy, look at that. They're going crazy over that story. That guy who stabbed that dog to death, he's facing felony charges for killing such a worthless creature. A creature that's its life is literally worth nothing. In fact, the neighborhood where this dog lived, it's safer now. Now, that's either true or it's not. And it's true. That community is safer. It's more pleasant. It's not as noisy. It's not as stinky. God, I hate dogs. They are such vile and unwanted, unpleasant creatures. Did y'all see that? What did I just do with that? I just showed that video of that cop who shot that dog. Or he may have shot just one. Okay, what did I do with that? I've lost it that fast. Did y'all see how those dogs just ran up to that police officer? Just walked right up to him. Walked up and just violated all of his personal space. And each one of those dogs did that. Each one of them violated that man's personal space. They did the exact thing to him that they warn us that we should never do. Never invade a dog's personal space. Yeah, what in the world is this? Okay, check this out. Told y'all I can't keep up with this stuff. Can't keep up with it. Here's another story. This surfaced a few hours ago.
John Nichols says he's being attacked by a dog while in his own front yard. This is the second attack in the community in 2 weeks, both of which follow a deadly attack back in February. We want to warn you, some of the images may be disturbing. News 13's
See how whole communities are terrorized? That's not gonna happen with me. Y'all gotta start taking action. The only way these dumb, brain damaged nutters get the point is when they hear bullets. They have to actually see you carrying a weapon before they get the message.
Carlos Sosa spoke with the most recent victims who say enough is enough.
You wouldn't imagine a dog could take you down that hard, but he did. And then he proceeded to just tear me up.
John Nichols says he's lucky.
You wouldn't imagine that a dog could do you like that, only if you are ignorant. Yeah, only for people who haven't even done any research into the subject. Okay, and that shouldn't happen.
To be alive after he was attacked by a neighbor's dog over the weekend.
The back of my arm is just chewed up, and that's the good one. He just chewed my wrist.
Boy, oh boy. And you can tell the type of neighbor he was. He knew full well the dogs were a problem, but he tried to be a good neighbor anyway. Oh, let me not reject the dogs. Well, I don't want to be an evil person. You know how the world looks at people who don't like dogs. I'm telling you, that belief that you are some type of vile, evil person if you don't like dogs, that is the primary thing that stops so many people from being anti-dog people. Had that stigma never existed, there would be far more anti-dog people in this world. But don't worry. We're headed in that direction right now. People are losing that stupid, counterproductive mentality. These ain't God's creatures. And they're definitely not creatures that we need to respect. These things out here attacking us nonstop. And they prefer to attack our kids. Don't tell me they deserve respect. They don't deserve nothing.
Pieces. My whole arm just hurts like you can't even imagine.
Nichols was out in his yard when the dog came running towards him. Nichols' wife...
Oh! You see how fast I caught that? Behaviorists. She just described an unprovoked attack. He was in his yard when the dog ran over and attacked him. Yep, that's how it goes. I've already shown 2 dog attacks where that's exactly what the dog did. Just ran up to someone not bothering and attacked.
Ruth says she witnessed the attack. She called her son who was inside their home for help.
My husband told him, get a gun. But by the time Nikki got...
Notice how grown men go for a gun. They project this idea like all you need is adult presence to keep kids safe. You know, when a dog is present, all you need is for there to be an adult there. When multiple grown men going for the gun, get the gun, get the gun. You talking about a creature that's too dangerous to be in society at all. And boy, the last thing y'all need to be doing is bringing dogs into preschools the way that y'all doing around kids. I wish, I want to have kids. Just so y'all can do that with my child. I'm going to send my child to public school just to see if y'all do that. You ever bring a dog in a classroom where my child is, I'm going to be in that classroom. I'm going to go up to that school and spaz all the way out. Y'all never going to forget me. And listen, we need more parents to do that. These nutters, they keep going further and further because they're not getting any pushback when they take it a step further. So right now, they are well beyond their limit. So they deserve all of the heat, all of the smoke that you give them. Okay, I have segued into a rant. Now, I wasn't supposed to. Okay, that was my fault. I segued into ranting. Okay, let me get my focus back. Okay, I don't want to preach to the choir or be an echo chamber. We all know how inhumane these people are. I've talked about this before, and I just wanted to put more emphasis on it, especially in response to these recent stories. And if I'm going to tell anybody one last thing, that is, dogs are not human. They are the furthest thing from humans. Literally, the furthest thing from humans. And they are actually anti-human. They have a negative impact on human beings in several ways. Our relationships with each other, with our own kids. They have a negative impact on our health, on our physical safety, on our water, the air we breathe, our ears, our noses. Through every sense that we have, dogs violate. Most importantly, these are not God's creatures. They are not natural animals. And they don't deserve to be respected as such. We don't show hardly any respect at all to natural animals. People have made it a sport to kill them. But yet, dogs are less valuable than those natural animals. How backwards is that? Ain't that crazy? If you're going to make a sport out of killing animals, why not make a sport out of killing the only animals that kills your kids? Isn't that a fair question? If you're going to make a sport out of killing animals, why not make a sport out of killing dogs? Seeing that dogs are the only animals that attack humans as often as they do, and definitely the only animals that attack human kids. You don't want to compare those numbers. That would actually make sense. That sport that they wanted to revive in Canada, trapped dog hunting or whatever, where they trap an animal and then release dogs on it so they can watch their dog kill an animal. That should be done with dogs. That same thing should be done with dogs. If you're going to make a sport out of killing, kill the creature that kills in a very abnormal way. Make a sport out of killing the creatures that make a sport out of killing your young, attacking your young. See, dogs have made it a sport to attack our young. Other animals, buck, deer, the animals that y'all hunt, those animals have not made a sport out of attacking us or our kids. Dogs have. So it only makes sense to make it a sport to attack and kill dogs. So I propose that into the laws, not illegally now. Everything I talk about, I'm suggesting from a legal standpoint. Okay? We don't support crime here. But I'm all for what makes sense. Elevating dogs makes no sense. I know when I'm dealing with backwards, dysfunctional, abnormal behavior. Everything about this dog culture is dysfunctional. I don't care what nobody say. I've been on this earth long enough to be able to figure something like that out. You got a problem with it? Go ahead and share your objection. I'm doing better. Oh, wow. Wow. I've been live for an hour and 40 minutes, people. That's way too long. That's way too long. What in the world am I doing here? I'm getting carried away. I am sorry. Big shout out to Kayamo. Welcome back to Kayamo, who is again a member of the channel. Big shout out to Kayamo. Big shout out to Wandering Fools in the super chat. Says, I live in LA and I'm strongly convinced it's the dog nut capital. Dogs in strollers, restaurants, grocery stores, on people's laps when driving, which should be banned too, because it causes a lot of accidents. These dumb people bringing dogs, you'll have a dog inside of your vehicle while you're driving. And we see a lot of these dogs, they'll jump on their owners while they're driving. I don't understand. That should be illegal. Just like drinking and driving. You get pulled over, a cop fine, an open bottle container in your vehicle, you get charged. Same thing should happen if there's a dog. Why is it necessary and safe to have a dog on a leash outside of a vehicle, but not inside of a vehicle? Inside the vehicle, the thing is unrestrained. That means it's more dangerous. Last thing you need is a dangerous creature while you're driving. So yeah, these laws, the culture in general, extremely reckless. Extremely reckless. Man, oh man. Yeah, big shout out to everybody. I did not plan on staying live this long, but I had a lot to say. You know, a lot of times when I'm at work or when I'm, a lot of things go through my head. And so many things go through my mind that I need to say. I get frustrated that I can't just say everything. There's too many thoughts for me to even let it all out. But the closer I get to saying everything, the better I feel. So thanks for listening. Big shout out to everybody who tunes in to these rants. Big shout out to everybody. Kittens in the house. Welcome back to, wish you well, Jeff. All the members. Welcome back to all the members. Man, I made a lot of people a moderator. I hope that's working out okay. BK Born in the house. Buster Gundo. Joseph Aldridge. What is going on? What is today? It's Wednesday. Hump day. Oh, yes. It's almost over. Last week of June. Nice weather in my neck of the woods. Hopefully you all are having nice weather as well and able to enjoy that nice weather without having some nutter terrorizing you. Definitely get sun. It's healthy, man. And it kills your depression. I was feeling bad all day yesterday until I got out and got some sun. So yeah, you get out, move around, get some sun. Depression is a big, big problem in this country. That's the last thing we need to accept. Anything get rid of depression. Remember that. You ever start feeling depressed, go for a walk. Just do something. Get up and move. You'll find once you move around a little bit, that depression go right out the window. Shout out to everybody able to join me for this live stream. And I hope to see you all back on the next live stream as we continue with this crusade.